If you're thinking about selling a property, understanding real estate terminology is critical. These are terms that directly affect pricing, costs, negotiations, and your net proceeds. Knowing them helps you make confident and informed decisions throughout the selling process. Let's start with pricing and exposure. Starting off with listing price. Listing price is the price your home is marketed at. This is a strategy and should reflect current market conditions. Market value. Market value is the value the market will bear and what buyers are actually willing to pay for your property. Comparable sale, comparable, or comp. These are recently sold properties that help determine realistic pricing for your property. Price adjustment. A price adjustment is a change to the listing price based on market feedback. Now, what happens when an offer comes in? An offer is a written proposal from a buyer outlining price conditions, deposit, closing date, and other key terms. Irrevocable. The irrevocable date is a deadline where the seller must either accept, decline, or counter the proposed offer. Multiple offers, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's when more than one buyer submits an offer on your property at the same time. An escape clause is something that allows the seller to continue to market their property and even accept other offers, but they must give the original buyer first rights of refusal to either remove one or all of their conditions and continue with the agreement at the original agreed upon terms. These are terms sellers should fully understand before listing, starting with listing commission. The listing commission is the total commission payable to the listing brokerage for the transaction and often includes the cooperating commission in this amount. Listing brokerage or listing salesperson is the party that represents the seller in the transaction. Cooperating brokerage or cooperating salesperson is the party that represents the buyer in the transaction. The cooperating commission is the portion of the listing commission that's paid to the buyer's brokerage for bringing the buyer and completing the transaction. These terms relate to certainty and risk, starting with conditions. These are requirements for the buyer or seller that must be satisfied before the agreement becomes firm. Firm sale or firm deal. When an agreement becomes firm, this means all the conditions are removed, waived, or fulfilled. And at this point, the contract is now legally binding. An agreement of purchase and sale, or an APS, is a legal agreement outlining all the terms of the transaction and may include additional schedules. An amendment is a written change to an accepted agreement, signed and agreed upon by both parties. Wrapping up some financial terms, starting with deposit. The deposit are funds provided by a buyer, usually held in a real estate trust, that helps demonstrate commitment and goes towards their down payment. Closing date or completion date is the date on which ownership is transferred and sale proceeds are transferred to the seller. Closing costs are costs associated with completing the transaction and include legal fees, real estate commissions, mortgage discharge fees, and adjustments. Adjustments are final calculations divided between the buyer and seller on closing day for things like property taxes, utilities, or rents. Understanding market terminology is also important. A buyer's market is where there's more listings than buyers, and buyers have the upper hand on the negotiation side of things. A seller's market is the exact opposite. There's more buyers than there are listings, and sellers have the upper hand. A balanced market is right in between. Supply and demand are about even, and buyers and sellers have about equal leverage. Finally, absorption rate. Absorption rate is the rate at which homes are selling compared to the available inventory, and it's one of the best indicators of market health. Knowing these terms will help you prepare for a successful sale and make informed decisions from listing to closing. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully you found it informative.